In today's video, I'm going to teach you, insert video title here. We're going to create a believable cast shadow in a straightforward, flexible way using the node graph. By the end, you'll have a shadow that sits naturally in your shot and can be adjusted quickly to match the lighting and perspective. Start by bringing your footage into the script with a read node. Make sure the correct clip and frame range are selected and confirm your color space so the plate looks as expected. This will be the base layer that everything else sits over. Next, add a roto or roto paint node to define the shadow shape. Use whichever you're most comfortable with. The key is to draw a clean, closed shape that represents the area where the shadow will land. Think about the silhouette the light would cast. If your subject moves, set a few sensible keyframes and keep the animation simple to avoid jitter. For now, keep the fill solid and the edge feather low. We'll soften it in a moment. Place the shape on the ground plane where the shadow should appear, roughly matching the contact point of your subject. Add a transform node to position and skew the shadow into place. Move, rotate, and scale it so the direction and length feel consistent with the light source in the plate. Use skew to angle the shadow so it appears to lie on the surface. A helpful tip is to set the transform pivot near the subject's contact point, so lengthening or rotating the shadow feels more natural. Now add a blur node to soften the edges. Increase the blur until the shadow looks like it's touching the surface rather than floating above it. Typically, the contact area is a bit tighter and the farther edge softer, so aim for a softness that suggests depth without smearing the shape. After that, insert a grade node to darken the shadow, lower the multiply to control intensity, and nudge the gamma if needed to keep the tone neutral. Avoid pushing it to pure black. Most real shadows retain some detail and color from the environment. Merge the shadow over your footage with a merge node. Connect the shadow to A, the plate to B, and use the over operation so the shadow respects your alpha. Finally, make small adjustments to opacity and blur until the shadow feels integrated. Compare it to existing shadows in the plate, prioritizing subtlety. When the edges and density feel consistent with the scene, you're done.